Have you ever wondered why NASA stopped exploring the ocean? For decades, the world's leading space agency conducted groundbreaking ocean research, but suddenly, it all came to a halt. What could they have discovered in the depths that led to this dramatic shift in focus? In this video, we'll dive into the mysterious history of NASA's ocean exploration, uncover conspiracy theories, and explore the untold secrets that may still lie beneath the waves. Could there be alien technology, ancient civilizations, or hidden resources just waiting to be discovered? Stay tuned as we unravel the ocean's deepest mysteries and the real reason NASA turned its attention away from Earth's final frontier. Chapter 1: The Ocean as a Frontier. In the early days of the space race, when rockets soared into the sky and astronauts orbited the Earth, another frontier was equally enticing, one much closer to home. The deep, dark ocean, vast and mysterious, beckoned with untold secrets and promises of discovery. In the 1950s and 1960s, NASA's eyes were not solely fixed on the stars, but also on the deep waters that covered most of our planet. The sea was as much a mystery to humanity as outer space, and for a time, NASA's involvement in ocean exploration seemed inevitable. Back then, the race to conquer the unknown was not solely about reaching the heavens. The oceans, with their uncharted depths, also held the potential for groundbreaking discoveries. NASA, always at the cutting edge of scientific research, began to explore the possibility that the same technology that could take us to the moon could also unlock the mysteries of the deep sea. It seemed like a perfect fit: two vast frontiers, space and the ocean, waiting for humanity's curiosity to unveil their secrets. In those early years, NASA embarked on ocean exploration projects with great enthusiasm. One of the key initiatives was the development of underwater habitats, an innovative idea inspired by the success of human space missions. These habitats were designed to allow astronauts and oceanographers to live and work beneath the surface for extended periods of time. The SEALAB program, initiated in the mid-1960s, was one of NASA's most ambitious oceanic endeavors. The idea was simple yet revolutionary: create an environment that would allow people to live on the ocean floor, just as astronauts lived in space. The concept of SEALAB was born from the growing realization that understanding the ocean was as important as understanding space. If humanity could conquer both, the doors to a new age of scientific exploration would open wide. SEALAB was a multi-phased program that started with short-term missions and eventually sought to build permanent underwater structures for continuous human habitation. NASA's involvement was key, as they brought their space exploration expertise to the ocean, developing new technologies for deep-sea submersibles, pressurized habitats, and life support systems. The first SEALAB missions were groundbreaking. In 1964, SEALAB-2 saw a crew of 4 men live underwater for 30 days, conducting scientific research, testing new technologies, and exploring the possibility of human habitation at ocean depths. For the first time in history, people lived and worked beneath the sea in a fully equipped, pressurized environment. The parallels to space exploration were undeniable. Like astronauts, the men of SEALAB had to deal with isolation, limited resources, and a completely different way of life. Their work was not just about oceanography, it was about survival, technology, and the human spirit's ability to conquer new frontiers. NASA's involvement in these missions was rooted in the belief that ocean exploration had the same potential as space exploration. If they could develop technologies that allowed humans to survive in space, surely they could apply those same technologies to explore the oceans. And indeed, the similarities were striking. Both the ocean and space were hostile environments, each requiring advanced life support systems, specialized training, and a great deal of ingenuity. But as the 1960s gave way to the 1970s, something began to change. The public's attention shifted almost entirely toward the stars, and NASA's focus moved from the depths of the ocean to the vast expanse of outer space. In 1969, the Apollo 11 mission to the moon captured the world's imagination, and the money and resources that had been funneled into ocean exploration began to dry up. NASA's funding was redirected to fuel the space race, leaving little room for the continuation of the SEALAB program. Despite the success of SEALAB and the groundbreaking technologies developed, NASA's ocean exploration efforts were eventually sidelined. Why? Some argue that it was a matter of priorities. Space, with its immediate allure and potential for international prestige, became the focus of attention. But was there more to the story than just a simple shift in priorities? Were there hidden reasons for NASA's sudden withdrawal from ocean exploration? Reasons buried beneath layers of bureaucracy and political pressure? As NASA moved its resources to space, the ocean, despite its vast and largely unexplored depths, faded from the spotlight. The Sea-Lab program was abandoned, and many of the advanced technologies developed for ocean exploration were put aside. What had seemed like a promising new frontier in the 1960s was now left behind, almost as if the ocean had become a forgotten world, overshadowed by the pursuit of lunar landings and interplanetary exploration. But the ocean, like space, still holds its secrets, secrets that may one day be uncovered. And the question remains, why did NASA, with its technological prowess and scientific curiosity, walk away from the deep sea? What could they have discovered if they had continued their exploration? Were there forces at play that led to this shift in focus, forces that we are only beginning to understand? Chapter 2. The Ocean versus Space, a battle for resources. In the 1960s, both space and the ocean seemed like endless frontiers, brimming with potential. As the United States raced to achieve dominance in space during the height of the Cold War, ocean exploration appeared to be a natural extension of that ambition. After all, if NASA had the technology to send humans to the moon, why couldn't the same ingenuity be applied to exploring the depths of the Earth's oceans? For a time, NASA's efforts were geared toward both space and ocean exploration. However, as the space race intensified and the space program's popularity surged, the funding and focus required for deep-sea research were significantly overshadowed. The struggle between space and ocean exploration was not just a matter of scientific interest. It was a matter of resources, financial, technological, and human. In the early days, the overlap between space and ocean exploration was undeniable. Both required the development of cutting-edge technology to survive in extreme environments. Just as astronauts needed spacecraft designed to withstand the vacuum of space, deep-sea explorers needed submersibles and pressurized habitats capable of enduring crushing ocean depths. Both missions demanded new materials, advanced life support systems, and unparalleled innovation. In many ways, the technologies developed for space exploration seemed to have natural applications in ocean exploration. Yet, despite the overlap, the oceans faced an uphill battle to secure the same level of funding and attention. As NASA's budget grew to accommodate ambitious space missions like the Apollo program, which aimed to put a man on the moon, the priority of ocean research began to wane. Space exploration, driven by geopolitical tensions and the desire for national prestige, was an undeniable focus of public and governmental attention. The moon landings in particular became symbols of American ingenuity, science, and power conquests that captured the imagination of millions. The allure of space was hard to resist. The opportunity to explore the unknown beyond our planet seemed to promise far more than the mysteries of the deep sea. However, ocean exploration required a different kind of commitment, one that did not provide the same immediate, eye-catching results. Unlike space exploration, which held the promise of tangible discoveries and international recognition, the ocean seemed like a quieter, less dramatic frontier. The ocean did not boast the same grandeur as the moon landing. There was no immediate return on investment, no giant leap for mankind that could be broadcast worldwide with the same level of excitement. The ocean was a much slower, more methodical pursuit. Moreover, ocean exploration had practical challenges that made it harder to justify in comparison to space exploration. Underwater habitats, submersibles, and life support systems were expensive to develop and maintain. The ocean floor, unlike outer space, was also much harder to access, requiring sustained efforts to reach extreme depths and conduct meaningful research. The cost of sending men deep beneath the waves was staggering, and unlike space missions that could lead to technological advancements with far-reaching effects, ocean exploration was seen as more niche, with limited direct benefits to society at large. While space exploration promised technological innovations that could revolutionize life on Earth, the ocean was largely viewed through the lens of practical applications such as resource extraction and marine biology. The sheer scope of the task, charting the uncharted, exploring the unexplored, seemed almost overwhelming, and the return on such investment was not as clear-cut as that of a successful space mission. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, the political and financial priorities of the U.S. government had aligned almost entirely with space. This space race was at its peak, with a clear and singular focus on the moon and beyond. Ocean exploration, despite its scientific merit, could not compete with the glamour and national pride associated with the space program. Politicians and the public were enthralled by the idea of space colonies, scientific discoveries on distant planets, and the possibilities of interplanetary travel. The ocean, for all its depth and mystery, seemed distant, overshadowed by the immediate promise of space exploration. The decision to prioritize space exploration over the oceans also had significant cultural and symbolic implications. The space race was not just about scientific discovery, it was about political dominance. As the Cold War raged on, the United States and the Soviet Union both sought to demonstrate their technological and scientific superiority. The moon landing was not merely a scientific achievement, it was a powerful statement on the global stage about who held the future in their hands. Ocean exploration, while equally challenging, was seen as something less capable of delivering that same level of geopolitical victory. And so, as the focus shifted to the stars, the ocean was left behind. Despite the promising beginnings of NASA's oceanic efforts, such as the SeaLab program and advanced underwater technologies, the vast depths of the sea became a distant, forgotten frontier. Resources that could have been allocated to ocean exploration were instead poured into furthering space endeavors. As NASA's missions to the moon captured the world's attention, the ocean was left in the shadows, its secrets still buried beneath the waves. Chapter 3: Technological Advancements. The push towards space. As the 1960s unfolded, it became abundantly clear that space exploration had an allure that was both captivating and impossible to ignore. The technological advancements that were being developed to enable humans to explore space were nothing short of groundbreaking. In the early days of the space race, it was not only about reaching new frontiers, it was about demonstrating human ingenuity, overcoming the limits of technology, and showing the world that the impossible could be achieved. NASA's ambitious goals for space exploration led to innovations that would change the course of history. The development of the Saturn V rocket, the world's most powerful launch vehicle, was a testament to the immense engineering feats required for space travel. The technology behind the Saturn V, which was capable of carrying astronauts and equipment all the way to the moon, represented the cutting edge of human capability. It was a leap forward in engineering, and its success marked the beginning of a new era in space exploration. As NASA's space missions gained momentum, so too did the need for increasingly sophisticated technology. Computers, once bulky and limited in capacity, had to evolve rapidly to support the demands of space travel. The Apollo Guidance Computer, AGC, developed for the Apollo missions, was a marvel of its time. This computer, with its rudimentary but highly effective design, was integral to the success of the moon landing. The AGC allowed astronauts to navigate through space, calculate trajectories, and even land on the moon. The rapid advancements in computing technology made it clear that the potential of space was limitless if the necessary resources could be allocated. Parallel to the development of space technologies, innovations in other fields also began to accelerate. Satellites, initially developed for military purposes, became central to communications, weather forecasting, and navigation. The space race fueled these advancements, creating a domino effect where one technological breakthrough led to another. The ability to launch and maintain satellites was not just important for military applications. It opened the door to a new age of global communication and information exchange. In many ways, the rapid progress in space technology was mirrored by the stagnation in ocean exploration. While NASA was pouring billions of dollars into the development of rockets, spacecraft, and satellites, ocean exploration, which had once seemed equally as vital, was increasingly sidelined. The resources required to create the kind of technology necessary to explore the ocean depths were immense, but not as immediately rewarding in the same way space exploration promised. Space missions were not only about discovery, they were about prestige, political power, and the demonstration of a nation's capabilities on the world stage. In the context of the Cold War, every technological leap forward was another victory over the Soviet Union. The race to land a man on the moon was not just about scientific curiosity, it was a statement. Every advancement in technology, from the rockets to the computers, was a means of asserting dominance and proving the superiority of American engineering and ingenuity. Meanwhile, the technological advancements required for ocean exploration, though impressive in their own right, did not come with the same geopolitical or cultural payoff. The deep sea required specialized vehicles and equipment capable of withstanding immense pressure and navigating treacherous underwater terrain. Unlike space, where the technology could be tested with clear milestones, launching rockets, landing on the moon, and returning safely, ocean exploration was more gradual. Every successful mission to the ocean depths brought new insights, but the rewards, while scientifically valuable, did not carry the same dramatic impact as a successful space mission. The submersibles and underwater habitats that NASA had developed were marvels of engineering. However, they were far more costly to maintain than space technology, which could be reused and put to work in various ways. The Deep Sea Challenger, a submersible designed to explore the deepest parts of the ocean, was a prime example of this disparity. While the Challenger's successful descent into the Mariana Trench in 1960 by explorer Jacques Picard was a moment of triumph, it was not immediately followed by widespread missions or additional funding. The cost of maintaining these vehicles, combined with the slower pace of underwater exploration, made them less appealing compared to the immediate and far-reaching benefits of space exploration. In addition to the technological costs, the challenges of deep-sea exploration were far more unpredictable. The ocean's extreme depths, unpredictable currents, and vast size made it far more difficult to chart and explore systematically. Space, on the other hand, was bound by the laws of physics and a clear set of goals: reach the moon, establish satellites, and study other planets. While the ocean had its own set of mysteries, it seemed more like a slow burn of discovery, with no immediate payoff for the broader public. And so, as technology advanced and space exploration became the new frontier of human achievement, the resources allocated to ocean exploration began to dwindle. The allure of the unknown in space, its vastness, its potential for discovery, and its place in the narrative of human progress, ultimately overshadowed the ocean's promise. NASA, with its finite budget and ambitious goals, had to choose where to focus its efforts, and space, offering more immediate technological returns, international prestige, and national pride, was the clear winner. The technology that NASA developed for space exploration, however, would have lasting effects. It would not only push the boundaries of what humanity could achieve in space, but would also leave behind innovations that would, eventually, be applied to ocean exploration in later decades. Yet, for a time, the ocean remained on the back burner. The rush to conquer the stars had won the battle, leaving the depths of the ocean to remain largely unexplored. Chapter 4: The First Major Disruptions. By the mid-1960s, the race for space had become a fully entrenched part of American society. The technological innovations driven by NASA's space program were not just groundbreaking, they were reshaping the national identity. However, just as the space race was reaching its height, the first major disruptions began to take hold, and the shift away from ocean exploration was already starting to take shape. One of the most immediate and significant factors contributing to the decline of NASA's oceanic ambitions was the changing political landscape of the 1960s. The Cold War was at its peak, and the space race had become one of the key arenas of ideological conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union. In this climate, political pressures were not just about the advancement of science. They were deeply tied to national pride and the desire to outdo the Soviet Union in a very public and visible way. Every space milestone, from the launch of Sputnik to the moon landing, was not just a triumph of technology, but a calculated step in a broader political struggle. For the American government, space exploration had become a symbol of technological superiority and global influence. The achievements of NASA were seen as a direct counterpoint to the Soviet Union's successes, and the stakes were incredibly high. The political pressure to outpace the USSR in space meant that funding for space programs increased dramatically, while other areas of scientific research, including ocean exploration, were pushed aside. The geopolitical context of the Cold War made it difficult for the ocean, with its slower, more incremental discoveries, to compete for funding or attention. While the Cold War accelerated the growth of the space program, it also created a political environment where space exploration was prioritized at the expense of other scientific pursuits. The ocean, despite its significance, did not fit neatly into the narrative of the Cold War struggle. Space exploration, with its potential to lead to new technologies and international prestige, offered a clear, immediate return on investment. The ocean, by comparison, was seen as something more practical, with fewer symbolic or geopolitical benefits. Another significant disruption came in the form of budgetary constraints. As the 1960s progressed, the financial burden of the space race began to take its toll. NASA's budget was astronomical, driven by the costs of space exploration, including the development of spacecraft, rockets, and satellite technology. The Apollo program alone cost billions of dollars in the U.S. Government's financial resources were stretched thin. The funds required for ocean exploration were seen as too high, and with space exploration dominating the budget, ocean projects began to lose funding. The cost of operating the Sea-Lab program, as well as the development of deep-sea submersibles, was a constant drain on NASA's resources. These technologies, though revolutionary, required ongoing maintenance, specialized equipment, and high-risk operations. The logistical challenges of operating in the ocean were significantly more complicated and expensive than those associated with space exploration. Space missions, once completed, often left behind valuable technology that could be reused or repurposed. Submersibles, however, required regular servicing, which made them less efficient in terms of long-term costs. The societal context also played a role in this shift. As the 1970s approached, there was a growing sense that space exploration was the ultimate symbol of human achievement. The moon landing in 1969 had captured the world's imagination, and the United States stood at the forefront of a new era of scientific discovery. The public's attention was now firmly focused on space, and the political narrative around space exploration was firmly rooted in ideals of human progress, technological triumph, and national glory. Meanwhile, the ocean, despite its vast and largely unexplored depths, did not offer the same immediate excitement. Public perception shifted significantly during this time. As more and more attention was focused on the moon and outer space, the ocean seemed to fade into the background. The excitement of space exploration, of venturing into a new frontier, of putting a man on the moon, dwarfed the quieter, more methodical process of ocean exploration. Where space promised the thrill of discovery and technological breakthroughs, the ocean, despite its own potential for groundbreaking research, seemed to become a less appealing frontier for public interest. Moreover, environmental concerns about the ocean, which would later lead to new fields of study in the 1980s and 1990s, were still in their infancy. There was little public outcry about the lack of ocean exploration at the time, as the ocean was often seen as a more local and less pressing issue compared to the grandiosity of space exploration. It would be decades before the global community would begin to truly understand the importance of the ocean in terms of climate regulation, biodiversity, and resource management. The combined political, economic, and societal pressures led to a shift in focus that was difficult to reverse. As funding for space exploration continued to pour in, NASA's attention remained fixed firmly on the stars, and the ocean, despite its vastness and the many mysteries it contained, remained largely ignored. What was once a promising area of scientific inquiry, supported by cutting-edge technology and driven by the same spirit of exploration that launched humanity to the moon, was now relegated to the background. And so, as the United States space program soared, the ocean slipped deeper into obscurity, its mysteries left to linger beneath the waves. But even as the tide of interest turned away from the sea, the ocean continued to hold its secrets. NASA, with its eyes turned firmly upward, had made its choice, and the ocean, for a time, would remain an untouched frontier, its potential waiting to be rediscovered. Chapter 5: The Funding Crisis. As the 1960s progressed into the 1970s, NASA found itself facing a growing challenge: funding. The rapid pace of space exploration, fueled by the urgency of the Cold War and the race to the moon, had been consuming vast amounts of financial resources. The Apollo missions, which had garnered global attention and pride for the United States, were costing billions of dollars. The success of landing a man on the moon in 1969 was undeniably a monumental achievement, but the price tag attached to it left little room for additional expenditures. And when it came to balancing budgets, space exploration, with its immediate international prestige and political value, was always going to be the top priority. The U.S. government, already strained by the costs of space exploration, was not in a position to continue funding NASA's ambitious ocean projects. Despite the groundbreaking potential of the Sealab program and other deep-sea missions, ocean exploration could not compete with the political and symbolic value of space exploration. Space missions promised not only technological advances, but also global leadership, international respect, and a demonstration of American superiority during the Cold War. The funding crisis that began to unfold in the early 1970s was not just a consequence of space exploration's costs, but of changing priorities. The Vietnam War had taken a significant toll on the U.S. economy, and the financial resources needed to sustain the military conflict left little for non-essential scientific endeavors. As the U.S. government grappled with an escalating war, inflation, and budgetary shortfalls, scientific research that lacked the same immediate, dramatic impact as space exploration was placed on the chopping block. In contrast to space missions, which offered the immediate spectacle of human exploration beyond Earth, ocean exploration was quieter, slower, and offered fewer immediate results. The deep-sea submersibles that NASA had developed, which had allowed for groundbreaking missions like the Sealab program, required ongoing maintenance, operational costs, and highly specialized personnel. The idea of building long-term underwater habitats or exploring the deepest parts of the ocean seemed less appealing in an era where the national spotlight was firmly trained on outer space. The costs of these ocean initiatives quickly became unsustainable in comparison to the returns they promised. The Sealab program, though a remarkable scientific achievement, was an expensive undertaking. The cost of building underwater habitats, maintaining them, and ensuring the safety of the researchers and astronauts involved was staggering. The same was true for the development of submersibles designed to reach the ocean's most extreme depths. These were expensive technologies, and there were no clear guarantees about the kinds of immediate benefits they would yield. The financial support that had once been available for ocean exploration programs began to dry up. NASA's budget was being reallocated to fund new missions aimed at exploring deeper into space. The focus shifted toward Mars, Venus, and other planets, with the promise of unlocking the mysteries of the solar system. Space missions promised a more direct return on investment in terms of scientific discovery, technological innovation, and geopolitical prestige. Ocean exploration, on the other hand, remained a relatively niche pursuit. While the discoveries made in the ocean were significant, helping to deepen our understanding of marine life, ocean currents, and the potential for underwater resources, they lacked the same immediate impact as a moon landing or Mars mission. The mysteries of the ocean were tantalizing but difficult to package in the same way that the cosmos were. While space exploration provided a canvas for grand, visible goals, ocean exploration seemed more confined, tied to practical concerns like resource extraction or military applications. As the budgetary constraints continued to tighten, NASA found itself unable to justify the continued expense of ocean exploration. By the mid-1970s, as the world moved beyond the euphoria of the moon landing and the Cold War began to ease, the funding that had supported NASA's pioneering ocean research was funneled into new, more cost-effective space missions. The technological advancements required to explore the ocean, submersibles, pressurized habitats, and sophisticated life support systems, became increasingly difficult to sustain. The dwindling interest in ocean exploration was compounded by a broader cultural shift. In the aftermath of the moon landing, there was a palpable sense of mission accomplished in the United States. Space had been conquered, and for many, it seemed as if there was little left to prove. The ocean, vast and mysterious as it was, did not offer the same immediate or dramatic victories. As society moved into the 1970s, the public's imagination was increasingly captured by other issues, such as the environmental movement, which would eventually reignite interest in the oceans in the following decades. But for a time, the focus on ocean exploration had waned. NASA's shift towards space exploration, driven by both political pressures and budgetary constraints, marked the beginning of a long hiatus in the agency's involvement in ocean research. With the budget for NASA's ocean program slashed, the once promising frontier of the deep sea was left to languish. It seemed as if the ocean, once viewed as a critical component of scientific inquiry, had lost its place in the national narrative, overshadowed by the allure of space and the political, financial, and cultural forces that accompanied it. Chapter 6. The Role of Military Interests. The Cold War was not just a battle of ideologies, it was a fierce competition for technological supremacy between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both nations sought to demonstrate their dominance, not only in space but in every domain of technology and science. During this period, the military played a central role in shaping the course of technological development, and its interests often diverged from civilian scientific exploration. While NASA's early ocean projects were driven by scientific curiosity and the potential to unlock the mysteries of the deep sea, the shifting priorities of the U.S. military would eventually have a profound impact on NASA's focus. At the height of the Cold War, both the United States and the Soviet Union poured enormous resources into military technology, particularly in the fields of surveillance, reconnaissance, and submarine warfare. The ocean, with its vast, mysterious depths, became an increasingly critical area of interest for military strategists. The U.S. Navy, already heavily invested in naval operations, found itself increasingly focused on the oceans, not for scientific discovery, but for the control of strategic military assets. One of the military's primary concerns during the Cold War was maintaining superiority in submarine warfare. Nuclear-powered submarines, capable of staying submerged for months at a time and carrying nuclear weapons, were seen as crucial to national security. The ability to detect and track enemy submarines became a key priority, and this required the development of advanced underwater technologies. The U.S. military invested heavily in sonar systems, underwater surveillance devices, and submersibles, technologies that, coincidentally, overlapped with NASA's own ocean exploration efforts. However, as the military's demands on these technologies grew, civilian ocean research began to take a back seat. The technologies NASA developed for ocean exploration, such as submersibles and advanced sonar systems, became increasingly appropriated for military use. The U.S. Navy, with its significant budget and strategic importance, was in a position to direct resources toward the development of these tools. NASA, which had originally pioneered many of these technologies for scientific purposes, found its efforts being overshadowed by the military's increasing focus on national security. The military's growing interest in the ocean also contributed to the secrecy surrounding ocean research. As the Navy's underwater operations became more classified, many of the advancements in deep-sea exploration were kept behind closed doors. NASA, as a civilian space agency, found itself unable to compete with the military's level of funding and access to classified information. What had started as a cooperative effort between civilian agencies and the military turned into a race for military control over oceanic technology. The tension between civilian and military interests also had an impact on public perception. As the military poured resources into underwater surveillance and the development of military submersibles, the idea of the ocean as a scientific frontier faded into the background. Public interest, which had initially been piqued by NASA's ambitious ocean programs, was now directed toward the moon and space exploration. While the ocean held untold secrets, the narrative surrounding it had shifted from one of scientific curiosity to one of national security. One of the most striking examples of this military prioritization occurred with the development of the Seawolf-class nuclear submarine in the 1980s. This advanced submarine, designed to detect and destroy enemy submarines, was part of the larger strategy to maintain naval superiority. The technology developed for such submarines was deeply tied to the military's increasing influence over ocean-related research. While NASA had been developing similar submersible technologies in the 1960s for ocean exploration, the military's funding allowed for the rapid development of these capabilities with a focus on surveillance and warfare rather than scientific discovery. The growing militarization of the oceans also meant that the most cutting-edge ocean technologies were being used in secretive military operations. While NASA's Sealab program had aimed to create underwater habitats for research and civilian scientific inquiry, the U.S. Navy's underwater projects were designed with much more strategic, covert goals in mind. As the military's role in ocean exploration grew, NASA's focus on peaceful, open-ended scientific research began to lose ground. Furthermore, the growing intertwining of military and scientific research during the Cold War meant that many of the findings from ocean exploration were classified or not shared with the public. NASA, as a civilian agency, was at a disadvantage when it came to competing with the high-security world of military research. The U.S. Navy had its own deep-sea projects, some of which likely overlapped with NASA's interests, but the results were often hidden from public view. This created an atmosphere of secrecy, one where the military's need for control and information outweighed the desire for open scientific exploration. While the technological advancements developed for military purposes were crucial for national defense, they further hindered NASA's civilian ocean efforts. The ocean, which had once been seen as a realm of scientific opportunity, became increasingly enmeshed with military agendas, and as military interests gained momentum, the idea of ocean exploration as a public good, as a frontier for all mankind to explore, gradually faded away. In the years following, NASA's involvement in ocean research dwindled, and the agency's attention remained firmly fixed on the heavens above. The ocean, despite its vast potential for discovery, became relegated to the background as the military moved in to control its depths. But as the Cold War eventually came to an end, and with it, the intense military focus on ocean technologies, the question remains, what could have been discovered if NASA had continued its oceanic research unimpeded? Chapter 7. The secretive nature of NASA's ocean projects. As NASA's ocean exploration efforts dwindled throughout the 1970s, a curious silence fell over the agency's involvement with the deep sea. While the focus shifted overwhelmingly towards space exploration, many questions remained about the oceanic projects that had been quietly sidelined. What had NASA really been uncovering beneath the waves, and why did the public learn so little about the results of these missions? The secrecy surrounding NASA's ocean programs has long been a subject of speculation. Though much of the scientific data collected during missions like the SEALAB program was made public, there are hints that other, more classified projects might have been taking place. Was it possible that NASA's interest in the ocean extended beyond scientific curiosity and entered the realm of covert military or intelligence operations? Some conspiracy theorists argue that the agency's involvement with the ocean was far more secretive than anyone realized. One of the most intriguing aspects of NASA's ocean projects was the development of submersibles capable of reaching the deepest parts of the ocean. These cutting-edge technologies, developed in collaboration with the U.S. Navy, were designed to withstand the immense pressures of the ocean's depths. While NASA's civilian ocean exploration missions were celebrated for their groundbreaking discoveries, these submersibles, some argue, might have also been used for purposes that went beyond public knowledge. In particular, the development of the Deep Submergence Vehicle, DSV, a submersible capable of reaching the deepest trenches of the ocean, raised many questions. While the public was told that the vehicle's mission was purely scientific, to study marine life and ocean currents, some experts speculate that the DSV was also used for more classified operations. The U.S. military had long recognized the strategic value of ocean exploration, especially with regard to underwater warfare and reconnaissance. Could NASA have been involved in classified missions related to military interests, such as submarine tracking or secret underwater installations? Further fueling these speculations is the fact that much of the ocean's depths remain unexplored and inaccessible to the public. While NASA's civilian projects were widely publicized, certain aspects of the technology and research remain shrouded in mystery. The development of underwater habitats and remote submersibles, essential for long-term ocean exploration, might have been applied to more secretive missions, some of which were likely conducted under the guise of scientific research. Could NASA's scientists and engineers have been involved in projects with military implications, unbeknownst to the public? One of the most significant and contentious pieces of evidence for these theories lies in the classified nature of some of NASA's oceanic research. Documents related to SEALAB, the Underwater Habitat Program, and other deep-sea missions have long been held under wraps. While the basic goals and outcomes of these programs are well known, there are gaps in the historical record that suggest much more may have been uncovered, much of which remains classified to this day. The U.S. government, throughout the Cold War, operated with a high level of secrecy when it came to scientific research that could have military applications. If NASA had developed underwater technologies that could have been used to monitor enemy submarines or carry out covert surveillance, it is likely that these operations would have been kept secret from the public. The convergence of scientific and military interests in the ocean meant that some discoveries would never be shared with the public, even if they were made with the best of intentions. As the world moved into the 1980s, the once thriving ocean exploration efforts of the 1960s and 1970s became a distant memory. NASA, now fully committed to space exploration, had little incentive to continue investing in oceanic research. Yet, the lingering questions about the agency's hidden activities remain. What might have been discovered in the ocean's deepest trenches? Was there more to NASA's ocean exploration program than the public was ever told? Some conspiracy theorists suggest that the very reason NASA abandoned its ocean exploration efforts was due to the sensitive nature of its findings. Perhaps the ocean held secrets too great to be shared, secrets that had the potential to alter our understanding of both Earth and space. Could there be ancient artifacts or even alien technologies lying deep beneath the ocean, out of reach of human exploration? Were there discoveries in the ocean that the government felt were better kept from the public eye? Though NASA never explicitly admitted to conducting secret ocean missions, the lack of transparency surrounding many of its projects continues to fuel speculation. As the U.S. Navy and other military agencies took control of oceanic technologies in the years following NASA's withdrawal from the field, the secrecy surrounding the ocean only deepened. It was as if the deep sea, once a place of open scientific inquiry, became an area of strategic and military importance. The questions about the secrecy surrounding NASA's ocean exploration projects have never been fully answered. While many of the findings made in the 1960s and 1970s were indeed published, the most fascinating discoveries, the ones that may have changed our understanding of the planet and its mysteries, remain hidden, classified, or lost to time. The ocean, for all its openness, has long been an area of secrecy, and NASA's early involvement with it raises more questions than answers. As the world's focus continues to turn towards space, we are left to wonder, what could have been discovered in the depths of the ocean if the funding and resources dedicated to NASA's ocean programs had continued? What might be hidden beneath the waves, just waiting for someone to uncover the truth? Chapter 8: Theories Behind the Shift. As NASA's ocean exploration programs faded into the background, a cloud of mystery and speculation began to surround the agency's sudden shift in focus. While many accept the official narrative that ocean exploration was abandoned due to budgetary constraints, shifting priorities, and the overwhelming success of the space program, others believe there is more to the story. Conspiracy theories abound, suggesting that NASA's decision to pull back from the ocean wasn't just a matter of resources, but a response to something far more secretive, sinister, or even otherworldly. One of the most persistent theories revolves around the idea that NASA's ocean exploration efforts were abruptly halted due to the discovery of something in the ocean, something that was never meant to be found. According to this theory, NASA's deep-sea submersibles may have encountered alien technology or ancient structures that could change the course of history. The ocean, which covers over 70% of the Earth's surface, remains vastly unexplored, and some believe that it could hold artifacts, technology, or even evidence of extraterrestrial life that was hidden long before humanity emerged. The theory of alien technology hidden in the ocean is rooted in the belief that the deep sea, much like space, could serve as a repository for advanced, ancient technologies. In this view, NASA's ocean exploration programs, particularly those focused on the deepest, least accessible parts of the ocean, may have uncovered signs of non-earthly civilizations. Proponents of this theory suggest that as NASA's submersibles and underwater habitats ventured further into the ocean's depths, they may have discovered evidence of these lost civilizations. Advanced technologies or structures that predated human history. These findings, the theory goes, were so groundbreaking that they could not be made public without altering humanity's understanding of both our planet and the cosmos. For some, the connection between extraterrestrial life and the ocean is more than just speculation. There are numerous reports of unidentified submerged objects, USOs, mysterious crafts or entities that have been seen entering and exiting the ocean at high speeds. Theories linking these phenomena to extraterrestrial visitations often point to NASA's abandonment of ocean exploration as evidence of a government cover-up. If NASA had uncovered evidence of alien activity beneath the ocean's surface, it might explain why the ocean suddenly became such a low priority. In addition to the extraterrestrial theories, another popular conspiracy posits that NASA's ocean research was stopped because the agency had discovered something about the ocean that was too dangerous to reveal. Some suggest that NASA's programs were covering up findings related to hidden, potentially hazardous forces beneath the sea. This could involve the discovery of underground caverns or anomalous magnetic fields, which could be linked to destructive phenomena or weapons that existed well beyond humanity's current understanding. The theory goes that these dangerous forces might pose a threat to global security, and thus, the ocean's mysteries were intentionally hidden from public view. The military, of course, plays a prominent role in these theories. The U.S. Navy's increasing involvement in ocean exploration has led some to believe that there were classified military missions taking place under the cover of civilian programs. The theory suggests that NASA's focus on space exploration was simply a cover for deeper, darker operations taking place in the ocean, where the military, rather than civilian researchers, had the resources and access to uncover the true nature of the sea's secrets. Some speculate that NASA's decision to cease ocean exploration was part of a broader government cover-up designed to protect these military and extraterrestrial discoveries from public scrutiny. Under the guise of financial constraints and the political pressures of the Cold War, the government may have suppressed these oceanic findings to maintain control over the narrative. This theory argues that ocean exploration posed too many risks, both in terms of the information that could be uncovered and the control it might relinquish to the public. Another theory suggests that the government's decision to prioritize space over the ocean was influenced by a desire to maintain control over resources. The deep sea is rich in untapped resources, minerals, oil, and possibly even energy sources, many of which could have significant geopolitical and economic value. If NASA's ocean exploration program had continued, it might have led to the discovery of these resources, which could have disrupted the balance of power. The shift towards space exploration, then, could be seen as a means of redirecting focus away from the ocean's potential wealth and ensuring that control of these resources remained in the hands of a few. Then there is the theory that the abandonment of ocean exploration was simply a response to the dangers of the deep. The ocean's depths are vast and treacherous, and NASA's submersibles were far from invulnerable. Some claim that the agency's early submersible programs encountered dangerous, previously unknown phenomena, such as unusual geological features or underwater creatures, that pose too great a risk to continue the research. This theory suggests that NASA may have simply given up on the ocean after realizing the hazards involved. But instead of publicly acknowledging these dangers, NASA and other government agencies chose to quietly abandon ocean exploration and focus on the safer pursuit of space. While these theories vary greatly in their details, they share a common thread: the idea that NASA's sudden shift away from ocean exploration was not merely due to the practicalities of space exploration, but was driven by deeper, often hidden, motivations. The ocean remains one of the last great frontiers on Earth, with vast stretches still unexplored. Many believe that what NASA discovered beneath the waves was so profound, so unsettling, that it could have changed everything we know about our planet, and possibly our place in the universe. The fact that so much of NASA's ocean research remains classified only fuels these suspicions. Documents from the Sea-Lab program and other ocean initiatives remain under lock and key, and many of the findings, if they were ever released, could reveal truths that are too unsettling for the public to handle. Whether or not these conspiracy theories hold any merit is up for debate, but they remain a powerful part of the narrative surrounding NASA's mysterious retreat from ocean exploration. The question remains: what did NASA find in the ocean? And what, if anything, was deemed too dangerous or too incredible for the world to know? Chapter 9: Ocean Depths and Alien Encounters. For centuries, the ocean has been a source of mystery, myth, and fear. Vast, dark, and nearly unexplored, the deep sea has always been seen as a realm where strange, unknown forces could dwell, forces that might challenge our understanding of life itself. As humanity made its first tentative steps into the depths of the ocean, the mysteries it held seemed only to multiply. But could some of these mysteries go beyond the natural world? Could the ocean, with all its untapped potential, be hiding evidence of extraterrestrial life? The idea that alien life could exist beneath the waves is one that continues to fuel speculation. There are numerous accounts from sailors, explorers, and even military personnel who have reported strange phenomena in the ocean, unidentified submerged objects, USOs, that seemingly defy the laws of physics. These objects, often described as high-speed crafts or lights, are said to enter and exit the water with incredible precision, disappearing into the depths or rising to the surface at speeds that no human-made craft could match. Could these sightings be evidence of extraterrestrial activity? Some believe that the ocean, being a largely unexplored and mysterious domain, could be home to alien visitors who use its depths as a hiding place or base of operations. After all, space is vast and dangerous, while the ocean, in some respects, offers a more secretive environment. In this view, aliens may have discovered Earth's oceans long before humanity's exploration of the stars, using the vast, uncharted depths to conceal their presence from our limited understanding. It's not just the USOs that fuel these theories, but the deeper connection between space and the ocean. Many of the technologies developed for space exploration, particularly those used to survive extreme environments, have parallels in the technology used for deep-sea exploration. Some conspiracy theorists argue that NASA's sudden abandonment of ocean exploration was due to the discovery of something in the ocean that could not be easily explained, something that may have been extraterrestrial in origin. Could NASA's ocean submersibles, which were some of the most advanced technology of their time, have uncovered evidence of alien technology hidden deep beneath the sea? One of the most striking pieces of evidence cited by these theorists is the discovery of unusual, seemingly unnatural formations found deep in the ocean. There have been multiple reports of strange underwater structures, massive, symmetrical formations that appear to defy natural geological processes. Some of these formations are found in places that would be difficult for natural forces to reach, leading some to suggest that these could be the remnants of an ancient, possibly alien civilization that once inhabited the Earth's oceans. These theories often reference the Bimini Road, an underwater structure off the coast of the Bahamas that some believe is the remnants of an ancient man-made road or pier. Could this be evidence of a lost civilization, or even something extraterrestrial? While mainstream science typically dismisses such claims, preferring more conventional explanations for these structures, the idea that alien life could have once thrived on Earth and left remnants beneath the ocean is a captivating one. Could NASA's early forays into ocean exploration have uncovered similar structures or artifacts that were deemed too significant or too dangerous to reveal to the public? The idea of underwater alien bases and technology gained significant traction in the late 20th century, particularly with the rise of UFO conspiracy theories. Some theorists speculate that aliens could use the ocean as a form of cover, hiding their technology from human eyes. The ocean, with its vast, uncharted territories, is the perfect place for extraterrestrial craft to remain hidden. According to these theories, NASA's focus on ocean exploration might have led to the discovery of alien artifacts, ships, or bases, and these findings were deliberately suppressed in order to maintain the secrecy of extraterrestrial life. Even NASA's sudden and unexplained retreat from ocean research has been interpreted by some as proof of a cover-up. If the ocean was truly hiding alien technology, or if extraterrestrial visitors had been observed entering or exiting the ocean, it would make sense for the government to classify all information related to these findings. Could the reason for NASA's shift from ocean exploration to space have been motivated by a desire to keep these discoveries hidden from the public? The idea that NASA's ocean programs were abandoned to suppress the truth about alien encounters is one that continues to captivate conspiracy theorists. The government's secretive nature when it comes to ocean exploration has only fueled these theories. The ocean is far more difficult to explore than space, and yet, the lack of transparency about what NASA uncovered in the deep sea raises questions. If NASA's submersibles were able to navigate the deepest parts of the ocean, what secrets might they have found? What were they keeping hidden beneath the surface? Moreover, there have been claims from former military personnel who have worked alongside NASA that suggest the agency was involved in secretive operations, not just in space, but under the ocean as well. These insiders claim that NASA was aware of the existence of underwater alien bases and even extraterrestrial life forms. According to these whistleblowers, the U.S. government and NASA have been aware of alien activity in Earth's oceans for decades, but have kept this information concealed to prevent mass panic or geopolitical instability. While the official stance remains that NASA's ocean exploration was a victim of funding cuts and shifting priorities, the questions surrounding what might have been discovered remain tantalizing. The ocean, like space, is a frontier that holds the potential for groundbreaking revelations about the origins of life and the future of humanity. And while space exploration continues to capture the world's imagination, the deep ocean remains an area of immense mystery. one that may still hold secrets too profound or too dangerous for humanity to uncover. Chapter 10. The Missing Data. The ocean remains one of the most enigmatic places on Earth, its vast depths still largely unexplored. But for a brief period in the 1960s and 1970s, NASA's ambitious ocean exploration programs seemed poised to uncover some of its deepest secrets. The Sealab projects, the development of submersibles, and the cutting-edge technologies NASA developed for ocean research were groundbreaking. However, despite these promising advancements, the full scope of NASA's discoveries in the ocean remained shrouded in mystery. One of the most unsettling aspects of NASA's shift away from ocean exploration is the missing data. Much of the scientific data gathered during these programs has either been lost, classified, or withheld from the public. The very fact that so much of NASA's oceanic research is not readily available to the public has fueled numerous conspiracy theories. Could NASA have discovered something in the ocean so significant that the data had to be hidden? Or was it simply a matter of bureaucratic oversight or political necessity? For many, the missing data represents a piece of the puzzle that has yet to be solved, a puzzle that could potentially reveal what was really found beneath the waves. The Sealab program, which allowed astronauts and oceanographers to live underwater for extended periods of time, generated an immense amount of scientific data. The program's goals were ambitious: to study the effects of prolonged human habitation in the ocean and to develop new technologies for underwater exploration. The results of these studies, which could have been critical in understanding human adaptability to extreme environments, were undoubtedly valuable. Yet, after the program was halted in the 1970s, much of the data seemed to disappear from public view. Some reports suggest that significant portions of the data were lost or never fully analyzed. What could have been so important in that data that it wasn't shared with the public or scientific community? The issue of missing data extends beyond Sealab. The submersibles developed by NASA to explore the ocean depths were equipped with the latest in underwater technology, capable of reaching areas that had never been accessed before. These vehicles gathered detailed images, sonar readings, and geological data from the ocean's most remote regions. Yet, much of this data remains inaccessible. Why? According to some theorists, the data from these missions was far more than just scientific observation. It could have included findings that were too extraordinary for public consumption. There are reports from former NASA engineers and scientists that suggest the agency's deep-sea submersibles collected data that was classified or later destroyed. The theory posits that the information gathered by NASA's submersibles might have included evidence of submerged artifacts or anomalies that couldn't be easily explained. Could the submersibles have uncovered mysterious underwater structures or unusual geological formations that were deemed too dangerous or controversial to release? The ocean's depths are filled with strange, unexplained phenomena, unusual formations, magnetic anomalies, and unidentified objects that could challenge our understanding of Earth's history. The idea that NASA's data, which could have provided crucial insight into these phenomena, was deliberately suppressed adds another layer to the ongoing mystery. One of the most famous examples of missing data comes from the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the world's oceans. NASA and the U.S. Navy conducted multiple missions to the trench, and although some of the findings were made public, many details remain classified or undisclosed. The trench is a location of intense scientific interest, as it holds the deepest known points on Earth, yet access to full data on these missions has been sparse. Could the data from these expeditions hold clues to the existence of underwater anomalies or even undiscovered life forms? If NASA's submersibles did, in fact, find evidence of non-earthly or anomalous objects, would the government have decided to withhold such information for fear of its implications? Some conspiracy theorists suggest that the loss or classification of data is not simply an oversight, but part of a deliberate cover-up. They point to the militarization of ocean exploration as evidence that NASA's missions were, in fact, a front for more covert operations. Could NASA's ocean exploration have been a way to develop and test underwater technologies for the military, and could the findings, whether alien, geological, or otherwise, be classified for national security reasons? The military's growing interest in oceanic surveillance and submarine warfare during the Cold War, combined with NASA's civilian expertise, created an environment where data was tightly controlled. If there was anything in the ocean that could challenge national security or reveal the existence of extraterrestrial life, it's possible that the data was deliberately suppressed. The problem of missing or classified data from NASA's ocean exploration efforts raises serious questions. Did NASA really walk away from ocean exploration because of budget constraints, or was there something more significant at play? The missing data could be key to understanding why NASA abruptly ceased its ocean research. Whether the data holds evidence of alien encounters, lost civilizations, or dangerous underwater phenomena, its absence only adds to the mystery. While some of the scientific data from NASA's ocean missions has been made available, the gaps in the historical record are undeniable. If the data was not lost due to administrative oversight, and if it wasn't simply suppressed due to national security concerns, the question remains, why has so much of NASA's ocean exploration data been kept hidden from the public? Could the data, if released, change our understanding of the ocean, and perhaps even our understanding of Earth and our place in the universe? As the years go by, the secrets of the ocean remain tantalizingly out of reach. What could NASA have discovered, and what might still lie buried beneath the waves, waiting for someone to uncover it? Chapter 11: Oceanic Secrets and Unspoken Truths. The ocean, vast and largely unexplored, has always been a symbol of mystery. Despite centuries of research and technological advancements, we have only scratched the surface of what lies beneath the waves. Some scientists and explorers believe that we may never fully understand the secrets of the ocean, not because it is inherently unknowable, but because the knowledge contained within it could pose risks that humanity isn't ready to face. NASA's brief but ambitious foray into ocean exploration may have unearthed secrets that, for reasons unknown, were buried deep within the depths, secrets that could challenge everything we know about the Earth, history, and even the nature of life itself. What could NASA have discovered that would be so dangerous or profound that it would be hidden from the public? Could the ocean, with its immense and largely uncharted depths, hold evidence of ancient civilizations, alien life, or natural phenomena so extraordinary that their revelation would rewrite history as we know it? One of the more speculative theories is that NASA's oceanic research might have uncovered ancient artifacts or structures beneath the sea, remnants of a lost civilization, perhaps, that predated known human history. There are places in the ocean, such as the Bermuda Triangle, that have long been the subject of speculation, where strange events have occurred, from disappearances of ships and aircraft to unusual magnetic anomalies. Could it be that these areas, often deemed mysterious or unexplainable, hold the remnants of an ancient, technologically advanced civilization that once thrived beneath the ocean's surface? What if NASA's submersibles, designed to explore the ocean's deepest points, came across evidence of such a civilization, evidence that was deemed too incredible for the public to process? Some theorists point to the discovery of underwater pyramids, roadways, and ancient ruins off the coast of various countries as possible evidence of ancient civilizations that were destroyed or submerged due to catastrophic events, such as a great flood or an ice age. These theories suggest that ancient cultures, perhaps even more advanced than our own, once inhabited the Earth's oceans. Could NASA's exploration efforts have uncovered remnants of this lost world? The very possibility of this forces us to reconsider what we know about our own origins. What if the oceans once housed humanity's first civilizations, only to be wiped out by an event we still cannot fully understand? Another unsettling idea is that the ocean may conceal alien technology or evidence of extraterrestrial life, something so advanced that humanity might not be equipped to comprehend it. It is a theory that has existed in various forms for decades, gaining traction with the rise of UFO sightings and encounters, and it posits that the ocean might be the hiding place for alien artifacts, or even extraterrestrial visitors themselves. Given the vast size of the oceans and the limited technology we have to explore its depths, it is not unreasonable to consider the possibility that alien technology might exist somewhere beneath the waves, far from human eyes. Many UFO conspiracy theories suggest that extraterrestrials have been interacting with Earth for centuries, and that the ocean could be one of their primary bases. In this context, NASA submersibles, capable of exploring the most inaccessible parts of the ocean, could have encountered evidence of these alien entities or their technology. The idea of extraterrestrial bases or objects submerged deep in the ocean may seem far-fetched, but it is part of a broader narrative that blends the mysteriousness of both space and the ocean. What if the ocean, once a cradle of ancient life, now harbors the technology or remnants of beings from another world. The unspoken truth about the ocean could also extend to natural phenomena that humanity is simply not ready to understand. The ocean is full of unexplained occurrences, unusual sounds, strange currents, and even bizarre marine life that defy conventional explanations. One of the most mysterious phenomena is the bloop, a powerful, ultra-low frequency sound detected in the Pacific Ocean in 1997. Though scientists eventually attributed the sound to the ice quakes caused by glaciers, others remain convinced that it was something much more profound. Could it have been a sign of something deeper, more ancient, or more alien beneath the ocean's surface? The ocean has its own language, its own rhythms, and its own secrets that may forever elude us. NASA's shift away from ocean exploration, coupled with the disappearance of certain data and findings, has given rise to speculation that the agency may have uncovered dangerous truths about the ocean. Could it be that NASA's research led to the discovery of geological or magnetic anomalies that pose a risk to humanity? Some theorists suggest that the ocean could hide deep, dark forces, potentially linked to catastrophic environmental or climate changes, that, if made public, could cause widespread panic. These forces, possibly tied to the Earth's magnetic field or its tectonic plates, might have been kept secret by governments to prevent global instability. There is also the theory that undiscovered life forms, whether from ancient times or from alien origins, exist in the deep sea. The idea that strange and potentially dangerous creatures might live in the darkest, most inaccessible parts of the ocean is not a new one. But what if NASA's exploration mission stumbled upon life forms that were not only unknown, but completely outside our current understanding of biology? Life in the deep ocean is often strange, with bizarre creatures capable of surviving in extreme conditions. But what if there are creatures, ancient, alien, or otherwise, that could challenge everything we know about the limits of life itself? The secretive nature of NASA's ocean exploration, combined with the military and political interests involved, raises more questions than answers. What did NASA really uncover in the ocean during the brief period when it held the world's attention? What lies beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered or kept hidden? The ocean, as vast and mysterious as space, may hold the answers to some of humanity's most profound questions, answers that, for reasons yet unknown, are being kept out of the public eye. Chapter 12: Modern-Day Ocean Research. While NASA may have shifted its focus away from the ocean in the 1970s, the pursuit of ocean exploration did not cease entirely. Over the decades, a number of other organizations, ranging from government agencies to private institutions, have continued to probe the depths of the world's oceans. However, despite these efforts, the ocean remains an elusive and mysterious frontier, with far more left to explore than we have managed to uncover. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, for example, has become one of the leading organizations in ocean research. NOAA's Ocean Exploration and Research Division conducts scientific missions using submersibles, remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, and sonar mapping to uncover the ocean's secrets. One of the division's most notable initiatives is the Ocean Exploration Cooperative Institute, OCI, which partners with other universities and research institutions to uncover the unknowns of the deep sea. Their work is crucial in mapping out the vast expanse of ocean floor that remains poorly understood. Despite the critical work done by NOAA and other agencies, it is clear that modern-day ocean exploration still lacks the resources and public attention given to space exploration. Unlike NASA, which commands substantial funding and global attention, ocean exploration remains a relatively niche pursuit. Many oceanic expeditions are limited by funding constraints, and the research is often overshadowed by the excitement and visibility of space missions. Moreover, the challenges of ocean exploration are far greater than those of space exploration in many respects. While space exploration has advanced tremendously, ocean research faces technological and logistical challenges that are not easily overcome. The immense depths, crushing pressure, frigid temperatures, and dark environments make even the simplest tasks, such as mapping the ocean floor, extraordinarily difficult. NASA's submersibles, for example, were groundbreaking in their design, but the scale of what needs to be done to explore the entire ocean floor is immense. While NASA's involvement in ocean research in the 1960s and 1970s was marked by excitement and optimism, the reality of the ocean's vastness quickly became clear. Even today, over 80% of the ocean remains unexplored. However, advancements in technology have made modern-day ocean research more feasible. The development of autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, has transformed the way researchers explore the ocean's depths. These machines can travel long distances without human intervention, collecting vital data on everything from deep-sea ecosystems to underwater geological formations. The use of satellite technology to map the ocean floor has also increased, providing scientists with a bird's-eye view of the ocean's depths and helping to identify areas that are ripe for exploration. Despite these advances, it's clear that the scale of what remains to be discovered is staggering. NASA's initial involvement in ocean exploration, though short-lived, laid the groundwork for much of the research we have today. The technologies NASA developed for ocean exploration, such as the deep-sea submersibles and the SeaLab program, helped advance scientific understanding of the ocean environment. But even now, the ocean continues to hold many of its secrets close to its depths. In recent years, there has been renewed interest in ocean exploration, particularly with the increasing awareness of the ocean's role in climate regulation, biodiversity, and resource management. Scientists now understand that the health of the ocean is intimately tied to the health of the planet. From coral reefs to deep-sea hydrothermal vents, the ocean contains ecosystems that are vital to the Earth's carbon cycle, its food webs, and its climate system. The discovery of new species, including strange and alien-like creatures that survive in extreme conditions, continues to astound researchers. Yet, despite all this, some still argue that the military-industrial complex has a far stronger presence in modern ocean exploration than the scientific community. The U.S. Navy, for example, continues to maintain a significant interest in ocean research, particularly when it comes to underwater surveillance and the development of advanced submarine technologies. Much of this research is classified, and it remains unclear whether military projects may still overlap with oceanic exploration for non-scientific purposes. As the world turns its focus towards space, where private companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others are pushing the boundaries of what we can achieve in space, some argue that the ocean still lingers in the shadows. Why, some ask, do we invest billions in exploring other planets when we have barely scratched the surface of our own? Could there be a connection between space exploration and ocean exploration that is yet to be fully understood? After all, the two domains share a remarkable similarity in terms of the technological challenges they pose. If humanity can create spacecraft to travel to distant planets, why can't we develop more advanced submersibles to explore the depths of our oceans? The renewed interest in space exploration has prompted many to ask, should we be prioritizing space over the ocean? With climate change, rising sea levels, and ocean pollution becoming increasingly urgent issues, the question of how much focus should be placed on ocean exploration is more pressing than ever. Could the technology and knowledge gained from space exploration be applied to the ocean? And more importantly, what are the benefits of further ocean exploration for humanity's long-term survival? Some experts believe that the ocean holds answers to many of humanity's most pressing questions, particularly in terms of sustainable resources. The deep ocean is rich in minerals, metals, and other natural resources that could provide significant economic benefits. Could these resources be accessed without causing irreparable damage to the ocean's delicate ecosystems? Could the deep sea hold the keys to a new era of innovation in biotechnology or energy production? If these questions are to be answered, it will require a level of exploration and investment akin to the space race, a race to understand the ocean and harness its potential. Though the technology is advancing and the research is progressing, we are still only beginning to unlock the ocean's secrets. If NASA's involvement in ocean exploration was cut short decades ago, perhaps it is time to reconsider the potential benefits of returning to the depths. The ocean holds its mysteries, but it also holds the potential for answers to questions we've only begun to ask. Chapter 13: Oceanic Secrets and Unspoken Truths. The deep sea has long been regarded as one of the last great mysteries of Earth. Its vast, uncharted territories continue to captivate the human imagination, conjuring images of forgotten civilizations, hidden technologies, and creatures so alien they seem to defy nature itself. Yet, despite decades of exploration, much of the ocean remains shrouded in secrecy, and many questions persist about what lies hidden in its depths. The ocean is the ultimate enigma. With over 80% of the ocean floor still unexplored, the sheer scale of its mysteries remains beyond comprehension. Scientists have only just begun to map out the ocean floor with modern sonar technology, but the knowledge is incomplete and the possibilities seem endless. Could the ocean hold the remains of lost civilizations, ancient cultures that once thrived on Earth but were submerged due to natural catastrophes? There are countless theories about sunken cities, from the legendary Atlantis to the more scientifically plausible idea of entire ancient cultures lost to time and buried beneath the ocean's waves. Among the most intriguing underwater discoveries are the mysterious megalithic structures found at various locations in the ocean. One such discovery is the Bimini Road off the coast of the Bahamas, which some believe is the remains of an ancient, submerged city. While scientists generally attribute these structures to natural geological processes, others insist they are evidence of an advanced civilization that predates known history. If NASA's ocean exploration programs had continued into the 1970s and beyond, could they have discovered even more significant evidence of such ancient civilizations? Were they left hidden, to be deliberately ignored or suppressed? The possibility of ancient civilizations is not the only theory that persists regarding the ocean's hidden truths. Some believe that the depths of the ocean might hold alien technology or even extraterrestrial life. This theory is deeply rooted in the idea that the ocean could have been a place of refuge for extraterrestrials, an environment that offers concealment and protection from humanity's limited reach. For decades, there have been reports of unidentified submerged objects, USOs, mysterious craft that enter and exit the ocean with remarkable precision, often at speeds and in ways that defy human capabilities. Could these be alien vessels, using Earth's oceans as a secret base, hidden from the prying eyes of space exploration? If NASA had continued its oceanic research, could it have stumbled upon evidence of these otherworldly visitors? Were the ocean's depths hiding signs of alien technology, or even entire alien ecosystems? The idea of extraterrestrials living or visiting our oceans raises more questions than it answers, but the absence of concrete evidence only fuels speculation. The government's reluctance to release more data on the subject only adds to the sense that there is something being hidden from the public. Another theory suggests that the ocean might conceal powerful natural forces that we have yet to understand. The depths of the sea are home to underwater volcanoes, hydrothermal vents, and geothermal activity that could explain some of the ocean's more mysterious phenomena. Yet, some conspiracy theorists believe that NASA's ocean exploration programs may have uncovered evidence of unknown energy sources, energy capable of altering the balance of power on Earth. Could the ocean hold the key to a new form of energy, one that could change the world as we know it? Could NASA's research have uncovered evidence of untapped resources that, if made public, would have profound geopolitical implications? Even more unsettling is the possibility that NASA's submersibles, designed to explore the ocean's deepest trenches, might have encountered dangerous underwater phenomena. Forces so powerful that their discovery could disrupt our understanding of natural laws. The Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth, has long been a site of fascination, but what could be lurking in its darkest depths? Some believe that NASA's ocean exploration efforts may have been abandoned after researchers encountered something in these depths that was too difficult or too dangerous to explain. Could it have been some form of natural disaster waiting to be triggered? Or could it have been a completely new type of organism, far beyond anything humanity has ever encountered? One particularly chilling theory is that NASA's involvement in ocean exploration may have uncovered something that has the potential to endanger humanity. If certain natural phenomena were identified as being more dangerous than anticipated, such as undiscovered tectonic faults or volatile underwater resources, then the decision to halt ocean exploration may have been made to prevent panic. Perhaps the government, in partnership with NASA, realized that revealing these discoveries to the public could cause widespread fear and uncertainty, and chose to bury the information. The ocean, in many ways, is like a Pandora's box, a seemingly infinite reservoir of unknowns, filled with secrets that could alter humanity's understanding of life, our planet, and the universe. In this light, NASA's decision to abandon its ocean exploration initiatives begins to look less like a practical decision and more like a cover-up. Could the ocean be hiding truths so profound that the government, in collaboration with NASA, has chosen to keep them hidden from the public? The allure of the ocean and its ability to harbor such secrets is undeniable. For all our advancements in technology, we have barely begun to explore its vastness. As new technologies and research methods become available, the potential for groundbreaking discoveries grows exponentially. But one has to wonder, what will we find when we finally dive deep enough to uncover the ocean's most hidden truths? And perhaps more importantly, when we do find these secrets, will we be ready for them? Chapter 14. The Global Implications. When NASA shifted its focus away from ocean exploration, it wasn't just a missed opportunity for scientific advancement. The decision to abandon the ocean, a frontier as vast and mysterious as space itself, had far-reaching consequences, both for the scientific community and for global geopolitics. The ocean, which is home to many of the world's untapped resources, holds immense potential for economic and environmental benefits, yet much of its true nature remains hidden. As NASA moved toward the stars, the ocean became a quieter frontier, largely left to other institutions, governments, and private organizations to explore. Scientific understanding. The decision to halt NASA's ocean exploration efforts, while driven by financial constraints and shifting priorities, had significant implications for humanity's scientific understanding of the world. Many of the technologies and methodologies developed by NASA during its brief foray into ocean research were groundbreaking. The Sealab program, for example, represented the first significant attempt to create a habitat for humans to live and work underwater for extended periods of time. These technologies had the potential to revolutionize our understanding of marine biology, geology, and oceanography. However, without NASA's focus and financial support, ocean exploration fell into the hands of smaller, less funded entities. Government organizations like NOAA continued their work, but with far fewer resources. Research on the ocean's biodiversity, the potential for underwater mining, and the role of oceans in regulating the Earth's climate would have benefited from the same level of investment and innovation that NASA's space programs enjoyed. As a result, many aspects of ocean science have remained stagnant, waiting for the kind of financial and institutional backing that was once provided by NASA. The implications of this are more profound than they first appear. The ocean plays a vital role in regulating the Earth's climate. Oceans store vast amounts of carbon, helping to mitigate the effects of climate change. As the oceans warm, acidify, and experience shifting currents, the repercussions are felt globally. Yet, with the shift away from ocean exploration, much of the data needed to fully understand these changes remains incomplete. If NASA had maintained its focus on ocean research, perhaps a more thorough understanding of how the ocean functions as a crucial part of the global ecosystem could have been achieved much earlier. International cooperation. The abandonment of ocean exploration by NASA also impacted international cooperation. Unlike space, where NASA's collaborations with the Soviet Union, Europe, and other nations helped to promote peaceful use of outer space, the ocean was largely seen as a local issue, governed by national interests. Space exploration was inherently global. Every nation could look to space as a shared goal, one that symbolized human potential. But the ocean, while also a shared global resource, lacked this same unifying narrative. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, provides a framework for how nations should manage the ocean's resources, but disputes over territorial waters, fishing rights, and undersea mining persist to this day. Without a comprehensive, internationally coordinated effort to explore the ocean, these disputes often remain unresolved, and the ocean's resources are underexploited or poorly managed. In this way, the abandonment of NASA's oceanic endeavors contributed to an uneven approach to ocean exploration, with some countries making significant strides while others lag behind. Moreover, many of the political tensions between countries, particularly surrounding underwater resource extraction and oceanic biodiversity, could have been mitigated by international collaboration in ocean exploration. Had NASA continued its ocean programs, it could have fostered deeper cooperation between the United States and other nations, helping to create a global effort to manage the ocean's resources responsibly. Instead, the focus on space exploration further separated global efforts. Space became the new front for international cooperation, while the ocean remained a fragmented, less coordinated effort. Geopolitical dynamics. The geopolitics of ocean exploration are complex. The ocean is home to vast reserves of minerals, rare earth metals, and energy resources, including oil, natural gas, and precious metals found in deep-sea hydrothermal vents. These resources could have provided significant economic advantages for the countries capable of accessing them, but without coordinated international exploration, much of this potential remains untapped or poorly regulated. The lack of a global effort to explore and manage these resources leaves the ocean vulnerable to exploitation, potentially leading to conflicts over resource ownership and usage. NASA's ocean exploration efforts might have offered the United States a strategic advantage in the early days of ocean research, positioning it as the global leader in oceanic technologies and discoveries. But as the Cold War era progressed and the focus shifted towards space, other nations, particularly those with significant naval capabilities, began to assert themselves in ocean research. Countries like Japan, China, and Russia, all with strong oceanic and naval research programs, began making headway in the exploration and exploitation of ocean resources, often in ways that bypassed international agreements or led to regional conflicts. The growing importance of the ocean as a geopolitical and economic resource was only further solidified as nations began to explore deep-sea mining, underwater energy sources, and marine biotechnology. With the increasing interest in oceanic resource extraction, such as mining for valuable minerals in the deep sea and exploiting the potential of ocean-based renewable energy, the geopolitical dynamics surrounding ocean exploration have become more fraught. NASA's departure from the scene left an opening for countries with significant military and technological capabilities to fill the void. In many ways, the ocean has become a space for military competition, with nations vying for dominance in the underwater domain, using submersibles, submarines, and advanced sonar systems for surveillance and reconnaissance. With new advancements in technology, underwater territorial disputes continue to play a significant role in global politics, and nations are racing to stake their claims to previously unexplored oceanic resources. The failure to have a global, coordinated effort to explore and manage the ocean could lead to further geopolitical instability in the coming decades. The ocean's role in the future. As the world looks to the future, the importance of the ocean cannot be overstated. The ocean is not just a physical boundary, it is a critical component of the global ecosystem. With climate change, overfishing, and pollution putting immense pressure on ocean systems, it is more important than ever that we understand the full scope of the ocean's potential. As scientific understanding advances, it's clear that the ocean will play an integral role in mitigating climate change and sustaining life on Earth. Yet, without a focused effort from global institutions, such as a renewed collaboration between space agencies, environmental organizations, and scientific communities, the ocean's true potential may remain untapped. NASA's initial foray into ocean exploration holds lessons for today. The ocean is a resource that belongs to all of humanity, and our collective responsibility is to protect it and understand it. By learning from NASA's past involvement in ocean exploration, we can work toward an integrated global effort to explore the ocean, just as we have worked to explore space. The ocean, after all, holds the answers to many of the world's most pressing questions about life, climate, and the future of our planet. But to unlock these answers, it will require the kind of coordinated, global efforts that space exploration once inspired. Chapter 15: Space Exploration and Its Cost. The human fascination with space has driven some of the most significant technological advancements in history. From the launch of the first satellite to the moon landing in 1969 and the ongoing exploration of Mars, space exploration has been a symbol of human ambition, scientific curiosity, and national pride. But while space exploration has undoubtedly expanded our understanding of the universe, it has also come at a significant cost. The question remains: did the enormous financial and social investments in space exploration come at the expense of other critical research, specifically ocean exploration? In the 1960s and 1970s, the United States, driven by the urgency of the Cold War, made a monumental commitment to space exploration. The Apollo program, which ultimately led to the successful moon landing in 1969, consumed billions of dollars. This was just one example of the financial burden space exploration placed on national budgets. By 1973, the total cost of the Apollo missions had surpassed $25 billion, an astronomical sum at the time, equivalent to more than $150 billion in today's currency. This staggering cost, combined with the ongoing need for funding for the Space Shuttle program and the emerging push toward interplanetary exploration, created financial pressures that were impossible to ignore. As space missions became more ambitious, the money needed to fund them had to come from somewhere. The U.S. government, which had already poured significant resources into space exploration, found itself facing a tough choice: continue funding space programs at an ever-increasing cost, or allocate those funds to other areas of research, such as ocean exploration. The decision to prioritize space exploration over ocean research was not just a matter of choosing one frontier over another. It was driven by a combination of public demand, political factors, and the promise of technological innovation. Space exploration promised global prestige and national security. The success of the Apollo missions in particular was seen as a major victory in the Cold War, a symbolic triumph over the Soviet Union. Space became a realm not just for scientific exploration, but for national dominance. The economic benefits of space exploration were far-reaching, creating entire industries dedicated to aerospace technology, satellite communications, and defense. The military, too, saw the strategic advantage of controlling space, fueling further investments into the space race. On the other hand, ocean exploration did not carry the same public excitement or political capital. Although the ocean holds immense potential for scientific discoveries and natural resources, it was not seen as a realm of immediate national importance in the way that space was. The immediate economic returns on space exploration, whether through the development of new technologies, commercial applications, or the political leverage it provided, were far more tangible. By comparison, the potential benefits of ocean exploration seemed slow, incremental, and less glamorous. The ocean, while undeniably vast and full of mysteries, did not offer the same immediate technological payoff as space exploration. The resources required to develop deep-sea submersibles, underwater habitats, and other ocean exploration technologies were substantial, but they did not promise the same global impact as the Apollo missions. Space exploration, with its ability to capture the public's imagination, seemed like the more worthwhile investment for the U.S. government. The mission to land on the moon offered a clear, public victory, while ocean exploration was confined to smaller-scale projects with no immediate, high-profile results. As NASA's funding was increasingly redirected towards space, the cost of maintaining ocean research programs became untenable. The Sea Lab program, for example, was a significant achievement in underwater habitation, but it was also expensive to operate. The technology required to maintain underwater habitats, as well as the cost of sending teams of researchers to live on the ocean floor, was high. Similarly, developing submersibles capable of reaching the deepest parts of the ocean required advanced technology that was costly and difficult to sustain. The Space Shuttle program, which began in the 1970s and ran for several decades, was another major financial commitment. The shuttle was intended to reduce the cost of space exploration by reusing spacecraft, but its development and operational costs continued to rise throughout the program. The budget for the shuttle program often took priority over other NASA projects, including ocean exploration. As a result, NASA's ocean programs were relegated to the background in the U.S. government allocated fewer resources to studying the vast, unexplored territories beneath the waves. In the years following the Apollo missions, the cost of maintaining the momentum of space exploration continued to grow. With each new mission came new technological challenges, each more complex and expensive than the last. The development of advanced rockets, space stations, and spacecraft for future missions to Mars and beyond required billions of dollars in investment, money that could have otherwise gone to ocean research. As space exploration grew, the financial resources for studying the Earth's oceans were diminished, and the exploration of space slowly began to overshadow the exploration of the sea. The cost of space exploration also extended beyond just financial figures. The social and cultural costs were significant as well. As the public's interest in space missions surged, funding for ocean programs became increasingly difficult to justify. Public interest shifted from ocean exploration to space exploration, and with it, the political will to support ocean research dwindled. The public's perception of the importance of space exploration, particularly during the Cold War, meant that politicians were more likely to support space missions than ocean exploration. This shift in public interest played a key role in the defunding of ocean exploration programs. Ironically, while space exploration has undoubtedly brought about technological innovations, some of these innovations could have benefited ocean exploration as well. Many of the technologies developed for space missions, such as robotic arms, advanced cameras, and materials capable of withstanding extreme conditions, have been applied to ocean research. However, the absence of NASA's direct involvement in ocean exploration meant that many of these technologies were either underutilized or slow to make their way into oceanic studies. So, what did the world lose when NASA's ocean programs were abandoned in favor of space exploration? The truth is that we may never fully know. The ocean, with its vast and largely unexplored depths, remains a treasure trove of scientific possibilities. The potential for discovering new species, learning about the history of Earth, and understanding the role of the ocean in regulating the climate is immense. Yet, the costs of space exploration, both financial and social, mean that these mysteries may remain just out of reach. Chapter 16. Was it always about the ocean? As we look back on NASA's brief but ambitious involvement in ocean exploration during the 1960s and 1970s, the question arises: was the agency's interest in the ocean truly about uncovering the mysteries of the sea, or was there something deeper at play? Could it be that NASA's ocean exploration efforts were not so much about the oceans themselves, but rather part of a broader agenda? One that may have included geopolitical strategy, military interests, and even the pursuit of hidden resources? It's clear that NASA's early ocean exploration efforts were not solely driven by scientific curiosity. While the Sealab program, which allowed astronauts to live underwater for extended periods of time, certainly contributed to our understanding of the ocean, it also represented a broader testing ground for technology that could later be used in space exploration. In this light, NASA's involvement in the ocean wasn't entirely about the ocean itself. It was about preparing humanity to survive and thrive in extreme environments, both on Earth and beyond. The same technologies developed for underwater habitats were later adapted for space exploration, suggesting that the ocean served as a training ground for what NASA truly cared about: space. The parallels between space and the ocean were striking, and the technology developed for deep-sea exploration had clear applications for space travel. NASA submersibles, sonar mapping systems, and life support technologies were all designed to withstand extreme conditions, whether under the crushing pressures of the ocean or the vacuum of space. The ocean was seen not just as a place to explore for its own sake, but as a proving ground for the tools, techniques, and technologies needed to venture into the stars. Could NASA's involvement in the ocean have been, in part, a way to test these technologies before applying them in the far more dangerous and unpredictable environment of space? It's also important to consider the military dimensions of NASA's ocean exploration initiatives. During the Cold War, space exploration was not just a scientific endeavor, it was a strategic race between the United States and the Soviet Union. As the two superpowers competed for dominance in space, the ocean also became a key battleground for military technology. The U.S. Navy, in particular, had a vested interest in ocean exploration, particularly when it came to submarine warfare and underwater surveillance. As a civilian agency, NASA was uniquely positioned to collaborate with the military, and its technology for ocean exploration, especially deep-sea submersibles and sonar systems, was often dual-purpose, serving both scientific and military goals. NASA's ocean programs were, in many ways, closely tied to the U.S. Navy's interests in underwater surveillance and submarine detection. In fact, many of the submersibles and remotely operated vehicles developed by NASA for ocean exploration were based on technologies originally developed for military applications. The Navy's efforts to gain supremacy over the oceans, particularly in terms of tracking Soviet submarines, were heavily tied to oceanographic research. Could NASA's involvement in ocean exploration have been less about understanding the ocean's mysteries and more about securing military advantages in the Cold War? There is also the possibility that NASA's ocean research was motivated by the pursuit of resources. The ocean holds vast untapped resources, minerals, oil, and even rare earth metals that could provide significant economic and geopolitical power. Could NASA have been involved in ocean exploration not only to understand the ocean itself, but also to gain access to these resources? While ocean exploration was publicly framed as a scientific endeavor, the hidden agenda could have been to identify valuable underwater resources that would later be exploited by both the military and private industry. The rise of deep-sea mining in recent decades suggests that the ocean, like space, is seen as a new frontier for resource extraction. Companies and nations are now racing to mine the ocean floor for valuable minerals such as copper, nickel, and cobalt, as well as rare earth metals crucial to modern technology. These resources, found in underwater hydrothermal vents and manganese nodules, are highly sought after and could play a significant role in the future of technology and energy production. Was NASA's initial exploration of the ocean part of a broader effort to map these resources for future exploitation? If so, the scientific data gathered during NASA's ocean programs could have served as the groundwork for future economic and military activities, with the potential for enormous profits. Another dimension to consider is the geopolitical importance of the ocean itself. While the moon and other celestial bodies offer the allure of exploration, the ocean is far closer, with nations around the world competing for control over its resources. The ocean's vastness is a great equalizer in geopolitics. Its size means that no one country has full control, but at the same time, it means that the potential for discovery and influence is enormous. NASA's involvement in ocean research could have been a strategic maneuver, intended to ensure that the U.S. would remain a dominant player not just in space, but in the control of oceanic resources and knowledge as well. Could NASA's abandonment of ocean exploration in the 1970s have been a strategic decision as well? Once the U.S. had secured its technological edge in space, it may have decided that the ocean, while still valuable, was less strategically important in comparison to the potential of space. By the time the 1970s arrived, NASA's resources were being stretched thin, and its focus shifted entirely to space exploration. The political and military realities of the Cold War likely dictated this shift. The decision to move away from ocean exploration was perhaps less about the inherent challenges of the ocean and more about space's increasing importance in the geopolitical landscape. Lastly, we have to ask, was it always about the ocean? The truth may be that NASA's ocean programs were never truly about the ocean at all. Instead, the agency's involvement with the sea was part of a much larger plan to develop the technology needed for space exploration. In that sense, the ocean served as a training ground, a proving ground for technologies that would later be applied in the harshest environment of all, space. With that in mind, the ocean may have simply been the first stop on a much larger journey, one that would take humanity far beyond Earth and into the depths of the cosmos. Chapter 17: Whistleblowers and Leaks. In any large organization, especially one as powerful and secretive as NASA, there are always those who, for various reasons, feel compelled to reveal what they believe to be the truth, whether out of a sense of justice, moral obligation, or personal conviction. Over the years, a number of individuals, from former employees to military personnel, have come forward with claims about NASA's ocean exploration efforts. These whistleblowers, while often dismissed or discredited by the official narrative, have provided a glimpse into the possible motivations behind NASA's sudden retreat from the ocean's depths. Could these individuals be revealing hidden truths that were intentionally concealed from the public? Whistleblowers in NASA's ocean exploration programs often claim that the agency's work in the deep sea was far more than a civilian research initiative. These insiders suggest that NASA's ocean research was heavily influenced by military interests, with the ultimate goal of not simply understanding the ocean, but controlling and manipulating the resources hidden beneath it. According to these whistleblowers, NASA's submersibles, sonar technology, and underwater habitats were developed not just for scientific purposes, but as part of a larger, more secretive military agenda that remained classified for decades. One of the most persistent claims made by whistleblowers is that NASA uncovered alien technology or underwater anomalies that were deemed too dangerous or controversial to release to the public. These individuals suggest that NASA's initial enthusiasm for ocean exploration was quickly replaced by a more covert mission, one that involved the suppression of any information that could challenge humanity's understanding of the ocean, space, or even extraterrestrial life. According to these theories, the agency's apparent abandonment of ocean exploration in favor of space missions was not simply a financial decision. It was driven by the need to keep certain discoveries hidden. One particularly striking account comes from a former NASA engineer who claimed to have worked on a classified project during the 1960s that involved underwater submersibles designed to explore the deepest parts of the ocean. According to this whistleblower, the submersible was able to reach areas of the ocean floor that were believed to be uninhabitable. However, during one of these missions, the team allegedly discovered an underwater structure, one that could not have been created by natural forces. The engineer described it as a perfectly symmetrical formation, unlike anything they had ever encountered before. The team was reportedly instructed to keep the discovery secret, and the findings were never published. This incident, if true, raises the question, what could NASA have found in the ocean that would warrant such a drastic cover-up? In another instance, a former Navy officer who worked alongside NASA's ocean exploration program revealed that there were ongoing efforts to track unidentified submerged objects, USOs, in the ocean. These objects were described as highly advanced craft that seemed to enter and exit the water at speeds and with precision that far exceeded the capabilities of any human-made vessel. According to this whistleblower, the U.S. military and NASA were aware of the USOs and had even developed a specialized team to monitor their movements. The officer claimed that the data collected from these missions was heavily classified, and no public reports were ever made available. Could it be that NASA's abandonment of ocean exploration was tied to a larger, ongoing effort to conceal the presence of extraterrestrial technology in Earth's oceans? There are also accounts from scientists who worked on NASA's SEALAB program, some of whom suggest that the program was halted not due to a lack of funding or interest, but because the research had started to reveal something far more unsettling. According to these individuals, the underwater habitats designed to simulate long-term human habitation were not just about testing the effects of underwater life. Some claim that the habitats were also used to study unexplained phenomena, anomalies in the water, magnetic disturbances, and strange biological activity that were not immediately explainable by current scientific knowledge. These insiders claim that the research on these phenomena was cut short, and all related findings were quickly classified. One of the most sensational claims comes from a former NASA astronaut who, after leaving the agency, publicly stated that NASA had not only explored the ocean for scientific reasons, but had also been tasked with investigating underwater alien bases. According to this astronaut, NASA's early ocean exploration missions had been directed to look for signs of extraterrestrial activity beneath the sea, specifically in remote locations where human activity was minimal. The astronaut hinted at the discovery of artificial structures or technology beneath the ocean that could not be attributed to any known civilization. While the astronaut's claims were met with skepticism, the idea that NASA's ocean exploration was a front for uncovering alien technology persists in conspiracy circles. Moreover, a whistleblower from NASA's underwater research team revealed that some of the submersible missions had been secretly used to recover pieces of wrecked spacecraft, objects believed to be of non-earthly origin. According to this individual, the true purpose of these missions was not only to explore the ocean's depths, but to examine the wreckage of alien vessels that had somehow crashed or sunk to the ocean floor. The whistleblower claims that many of these objects were classified, their origin concealed from the public. Could the ocean be the resting place for extraterrestrial artifacts? And were NASA's deep-sea missions deliberately designed to uncover these remnants? While many of these claims have been dismissed by mainstream science and the government, the consistency of these whistleblower accounts, as well as the secrecy surrounding NASA's ocean programs, continues to fuel suspicions. The question remains, what did NASA discover in the depths of the ocean that was so important, so controversial, or so dangerous that it warranted a cover-up? And why did the U.S. government choose to stop exploring the ocean when there was so much left to discover? As more former employees and insiders come forward with their stories, the narrative surrounding NASA's ocean exploration becomes increasingly complex. What began as an effort to explore the mysteries of the sea may, in fact, have been much more an endeavor to uncover secrets that, perhaps, were never meant to be found. The leaks, the claims, and the mysterious silences all point to one undeniable conclusion. The ocean holds secrets, and some of those secrets may never be fully revealed. Chapter 18: The Hidden Ocean and the Future of Exploration. As we conclude this exploration into NASA's involvement with the ocean and the secrets that may have been uncovered in the depths, we are left with more questions than answers. The ocean, for all its mystery and potential, remains largely unexplored. Despite the significant advancements in technology, the vast majority of the ocean's depths remain a realm of uncertainty and wonder. NASA's brief foray into ocean exploration, and its eventual retreat in favor of space missions has left an indelible mark on our understanding of what might still lie beneath the waves. But even as we acknowledge the missed opportunities of the past, we must ask, what does the future of ocean exploration look like? While NASA has long since redirected its focus to space, its early research in the ocean has had lasting effects. The technologies developed by NASA for ocean exploration, submersibles, sonar systems, and underwater habitats were groundbreaking for their time. These tools laid the foundation for future explorations, helping to push the boundaries of what we know about the deep sea. And yet, the question remains, how much of the ocean's true nature remains hidden, and why have we not fully committed to uncovering it? The future of ocean exploration is ripe with potential. With the increasing threats posed by climate change, pollution, and the depletion of natural resources, understanding the ocean has never been more critical. The deep sea is not only vital for regulating the Earth's climate, it is also home to untapped resources that could play a key role in sustainable energy, biotechnology, and resource management. The ocean's vastness and complexity make it one of the last frontiers of scientific discovery, and the next generation of explorers will need to approach it with the same sense of wonder and dedication that characterized the space race. In the coming decades, advances in technology will likely change the landscape of ocean exploration. Autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, and remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, are already capable of diving deeper and longer than any human could. New materials are being developed that can withstand the immense pressures of the ocean's depths, enabling scientists to send more sophisticated equipment to explore places that were once unreachable. These technological advancements may open the door to new discoveries in the coming years, but we must ask, what will we find when we venture deeper? The idea of deep-sea mining continues to be a contentious issue. The ocean floor is rich in resources such as minerals, metals, and precious stones, some of which are essential for the future of technology. As the demand for these resources grows, so too does the pressure to exploit them. Yet, mining the ocean floor comes with significant environmental risks. Could the drive for economic gain lead to the destruction of fragile ecosystems? Or could we find a way to harness the ocean's resources in a sustainable manner? These are the questions that future explorers, scientists, and policymakers will have to address in the coming years. Perhaps even more pressing is the ocean's role in climate regulation. The ocean absorbs a vast amount of the world's excess heat and carbon dioxide, playing a crucial part in regulating global temperatures. As we face the reality of global warming, understanding how the ocean can help mitigate climate change is more urgent than ever. The ocean's circulation patterns, its capacity to store carbon, and its diverse ecosystems all play a role in the Earth's climate system. By continuing to explore the ocean and its role in regulating the planet, we can better understand how to manage the effects of climate change and preserve the health of the planet for future generations. While the ocean holds many mysteries, some of the most profound secrets it may hold are not just about alien artifacts or ancient lost civilizations, as some conspiracy theories suggest. The true mystery of the ocean lies in its ability to sustain life and regulate the Earth's climate, two factors that are essential for humanity's survival. The ocean's capacity to provide both resources and climate stability means that our future is intimately tied to the health of the seas. Understanding its complex systems, preserving its ecosystems, and finding sustainable ways to interact with it will be key to securing a future on Earth. Looking back at NASA's brief but pivotal involvement with the ocean, it's clear that the agency's focus on space exploration was not a mistake, but it was at the cost of ocean exploration. However, as we move forward into the 21st century, the ocean is becoming more of a priority in the conversation around sustainability, climate change, and resource management. In this new age of environmental awareness, the ocean must be treated as a priority for scientific research, technological development, and international cooperation. While NASA may no longer be at the forefront of ocean exploration, other institutions, governments, and private enterprises are stepping up to the challenge. With renewed attention on the importance of the ocean, the next wave of exploration will likely lead to groundbreaking discoveries that could reshape our understanding of the Earth itself. Will we uncover alien technologies hidden in the deep? Will we find remnants of long-lost civilizations? Or will we discover entirely new ecosystems that could hold the keys to sustainable living and the future of humanity? The truth is that the ocean, much like space, is still a frontier. And as we turn our gaze back to the seas, we may discover that the answers to some of humanity's most pressing questions lie just beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. Sleep well.